Hello there. This is my first video on this channel, so, hey. Let me talking about this Arthur episode that's, well, you'll see. So the episode starts with the principal announcing that they're going to be serving breakfast in the cafeteria.
Starting tomorrow, breakfast will be served in the cafeteria.
Everyone's all happy about it, except one person. Also, they're gonna have the Congressman John Lewis for some reason going to the school. I mean, I guess that's pretty cool.
Congressman John Lewis from Georgia.
You mean the John Lewis? He was a really important civil rights leader in the 1960s.
Sorry, but I don't think an 8-year-old kid would know about Congressman John Lewis, unless, of course, they actually read the history books. But, like, I can't imagine a kid that young knowing that much about him. And then they cut to where it shows the name. For some reason, I don't know why, it's just so, like, silent and awkward. Just take a look.
Arthur takes the stand.
And then it shows Mrs. McGrady, the only cafeteria lady, which isn't that like common? I don't know. I feel like there's only like ever one person doing that, but I don't know. She bikes to school because I guess she doesn't have a car. And then when she gets there, she makes all the food, and then all the kids there like on some kind of drug, and they're all like really hyper asking her for recipes or to make something. So I think to solve Mrs. McGrady's problem so far is to just say no. So Mrs. McGrady reveals that she's tired of making all the food alone, which is understandable, I guess.
Mrs. McGrady.
Yes, present.
But she acts like she's fine about it, so okay.
Oh well.
Then Arthur tells his friends and stuff, and for some reason he cares more about it than Mrs. McGrady herself even cares about it.
It isn't right that Mrs. McGrady should have to do all this alone.
It's not right, because you shouldn't even eat breakfast to begin with. You should only eat lunch, not to sound like some freaking health doctor person, but like you should only eat lunch. You don't need 3 meals a day. You should only be eating 1 meal a day. But I can't talk because I snack all freaking day. So they all agree to meet Mrs. Tingley. Yep, Mrs. Tingley. That's the weirdest name I've ever heard. But anyways, that's another story. They all agree to meet her and convince her to hire another person. But Arthur's the only one that goes through with it. Everyone else has other things to do, which they're not making excuses. They actually have to do something else.
I completely forgot. I have a dentist appointment now.
Then Arthur talks to Mrs. Tingley about it. I can't even say that name with a straight face. I'm just gonna call her the principal. Arthur talks to the principal about it, and she says that they can't afford it, which is, I guess, a pretty good excuse.
I'd love to hire her an assistant, but the school board gives us a limited amount of money and we just don't have the budget for it.
After they said that they cannot afford it to hire another person, Arthur's for some reason all mad, even though they can't afford it.
What if Mr. Ratburn had to teach twice as many classes? I bet he'd get an assistant.
Mr. Ratburn probably couldn't get another assistant because they couldn't afford it. And then Sue Ellen suggests to boycott the school, which is just when you sit around and not do anything until you're given what you want, which is kind of dumb in my opinion. Okay, give me a bunch of angry comments, I don't care, but like, sitting around until people give you what you want is not really a good idea. So Arthur spreads a bunch of papers around saying to boycott the breakfast, but Mrs. McGrady says that she's the one that came up with the breakfast.
Serving breakfast was my idea.
So, I guess, end of the episode.
And I say, hey!
But nope, that's not the end. Arthur is, for some reason, still angry about this.
But you can't do it all alone.
So why did Mrs. McGrady want breakfast? If she doesn't have help to do it, why does she want to do it? She can, like what? Okay, it just sounds like her fault at this point. Then Arthur meets Congressman Lewis in the library. Holy crap! Could they have not made him less creepy? Like, this is like offensive for Pete's sake. Holy crap. What in the world? What were the animators thinking at this point? Holy. I think I'm gonna have nightmares about this for forever. Then Congressman Lewis talks in gibberish, like I'm not being racist or whatever.
Knew a cook once who could run a jelly sandwich.
I just genuinely cannot understand what he's saying.
I guess it's not my problem.
Yes, finally, it's not your problem. Stop putting a bunch of stress on yourself for someone else's problem. Especially if they're the one volunteering to do it.
People don't hear the first time.
No, she heard alright, and she said that they cannot afford it. Like, it doesn't matter if Mrs. McGrady was white or black, it doesn't change the fact that they couldn't afford hiring another person. Why do, when Arthur has a celebrity guest, why do they always make them so creepy? Like, stop touching the kids. Like, keep your hands off, for Pete's sake. Like, freaking Matt Damon and I can't even remember who else. Like, an architect, they're so creepy for some reason. Like, just stop talking to kids, for Pete's sake.
I'm not moving from this chair until Ms. Tingley agrees to hire an assistant for Mrs. McGrady.
That's silly. How is you getting in trouble going to help her?
Yeah, exactly. Why you just being stubborn is gonna making the school mad. Going to, oh, you're not coming to school? I guess I'm gonna hire an assistant. Just doesn't make any sense.
What the school is doing is wrong. Don't you think it's wrong?
No, it's not. Again, I'll say this for the trillionth time. Whether she's white or black, it doesn't change the fact that they can't afford to hire another person. They said it before. Stop acting like they can just pull money out of nowhere and and hire someone, which I'm sure they could pull money out of anywhere. But, like, they said they can afford it, that's that. Stop being an idiot. Then Congressman Lewis walks into the school uninvited, which another suspicious thing. It turns out Mrs. McGrady is friends with Congressman Lewis and he comes and helps them. And Mrs. Tingley, I hate that name. The principal agrees to write the board to get more money, which isn't really a guarantee because they might not be able to get money still. And he gives Arthur a creepy wink. Okay, that's it. That's the end. So what did you think? Was it crap? Was it good? Did they do a good job? And everyone, I know everyone can agree, they really screwed up Congressman Lewis. Like, this is the most hideous celebrity they've ever tried to recreate. Like, what were they even thinking? Well, that's it. Goodbye. Oh man. Now I'm gonna have nightmares for the rest of my life. Ugh.